right, we're very happy to have him back on the show for all of his insight. We love to have him. The Blueline Hockey. Welcome back to the show, brother.
It's always good to be back here.
So we wanted to dive into a whole bunch of things. It is the off season, so silly stuff is happening all over the league. But we wanted to talk about a few specific things that are related to our Vancouver Canucks. And kind of Canuck adjacent is Tocchet talk. So the one thing I wanted to ask you about was there's a clip that just came out the other day from Michkov, who is one of the big players, obviously a young guy over in Philadelphia. But the whole video was all about how much he hates the dump and chase. Is that really going to work with Tocchet's system?
I just want to start off by saying the dump and chase stuff with Tocchet is really overblown. He came out the beginning of last season and he made it very clear that he wanted the Canucks to carry the puck with authority through the neutral zone, and no one was doing it, except for Quinn Hughes. He's a defenseman, right? He can't be the only one who's trying to actually make plays going through the neutral zone with speed. So it wasn't this whole idea that Tocchet is married to one system and only one way of playing hockey is false, and it's sort of a revisionist history. I also heard when Filipino came, you guys remember his first game against, I believe, Detroit, when he scored a goal, everyone was shocked at how confident he was carrying the puck through the neutral zone. And then afterwards, people were saying, oh, Hedl is now, he's been under Tocchet's system for 2 weeks and he's dumping the puck in and dumping the puck in now. But I think a lot of it's overblown. But the thing with him and Zegras and him and Michkov is going to be making sure that those guys pay attention to the details, making sure that they pick up their man in their own zone, making sure they're playing that box plus one system that Tocchet really likes, making sure that they're always moving their legs, always have their head on a swivel. You can't float in your defensive zone. Those are the main things that Michkov and Zegras have to learn when they're playing under Tocchet. And Tocchet's system there is room for offense. It's not the most creative system, but we saw in 23-24, Miller 100-something points. Pettersson was on pace before he hurt his knee for over 100 points. Hughes was putting up a lot of points. It's not like Tocchet is completely anti offense. And he gets a lot of flack for when he was in Phoenix. Clayton Keller's numbers were down. And then Clayton Keller's numbers explode when he leaves. But guess what? Arizona was also giving up way more goals after he left as well. So people don't look at both sides of the coin. They look at, this guy got this many points, and then he has way more points, but they don't look at the defensive side of the game as well. If you think about Michkov, I do think him and Zegras can find offense under Tocchet, under the right circumstances. But would you rather Michkov has 100 points and you're like a middle of the pack team, or would you rather Michkov have 75, 80 points, you're elite defensively, and that carries you back into the playoffs, right? And it's the same thing with Zegras. I think Zegras is going to have a way tougher time. He's way more flashy. He's also I remember last year when Kiefer Sherwood tried to hit him and he dodged out of the way, and Kiefer's like, "You fucking pussy." Yeah. It's on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen it, you just check it out. But I think Zegras is going to have a tougher time with Tocchet. But Zegras really needs someone who's going to show him some tough love, because he's not playing the game the right way. He has potential to be like a point per game guy. And at this point in his career, he needs someone who's going to straighten him out.
Yeah, I mean, Canucks fans probably need to start giving Tocchet a pass, considering he's once again been named to the coaching staff for the Canada team coming up at the Olympics. So obviously, people outside of the Canucks organization and fandom have seen something in Tocchet that is worthy of coaching one of the best teams in the entire world.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to run the bench, but if I had to guess, I'd say Tocchet will probably be in charge of special, penalty kill at least. Maybe he'll run the defensive bench, but they got Bruce Cassidy there as well. So that'll be interesting to see. Pete DeBoer is there as well, I believe. So they got John Cooper, but the assistant coaches they hired are hard asses, all three of them. So I hope they can find a balance, but I do expect Canada to win
Yeah.
gold.
Hopefully Canada can get it done, unlike the Oilers did last year. 2 years in a row now, they failed to do it. And then now they've lost a bunch of their depth pieces. And on top of that, we've obviously seen them sign Mr. Bouchard to his extension, big fat deal. So now they have essentially taken on the same model as the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Core Fore, as they call it. The difference obviously being is the Oilers' Core Fore is 2 forwards and 2 defensemen. But regardless, paying that much money to 4 guys, how are the Oilers going to have success with that compared to what the failure was there in Toronto?
Just to clarify, are you saying that it's Draisaitl, McDavid, Bouchard, and Ekholm, or Nurse?
Nurse.
I personally wouldn't agree with that assessment that Nurse is part of their core four. I'd say Ekholm is more important to the defense, especially if he can get healthy. I think Nurse is probably the biggest mistake that Ken Holland made. 9.25 for Nurse, who's like, the thing is, he should be on he should be on your second pairing. He should never be on your first pairing. B, even when he is on your second pairing, he needs a guy who's going to babysit him. So, in my opinion, he's not even. I wouldn't even pay him $6 million to be on my team. Because like, if you're going to pay someone that much, they should be able to carry their pairing. And last year, just watching how him and Kulak together. I actually went to the Stanley Cup final. I went to every game except for 1 and 3. When you see it live, him and Kulak together was an absolute disaster. The reason that they lost game number 2 was pretty much these guys were just giving the puck away the entire game, and they weren't bringing any physicality. So I don't agree with the assessment that Nurse would be part of their core four. But what was the question again? I got kind of sidetracked.
Well, the question would be is how can the Oilers hope to have success with a model paying so much money to 4 guys? So I wouldn't even necessarily call Nurse the actual core piece of that, but he's got the contract of the core 4. And so that's why I would put him in that category of paying, what as it ends up being, $40-something million to 4 guys.
Okay, yeah, I get that. I get to add on to my last point, like, Nurse at 9.25 is the reason that they weren't able to add any pieces this summer, or they weren't able to retain Perry and Brown. Like, that contract, I guess the Canucks equivalent would be the Oliver Ekman-Larsson buyout, 4.7 plus another $700,000 for Ilya Mikheyev. That's the reason the Canucks don't have a second line center. That's the reason the Canucks are probably not a sure thing to make the playoffs next year. If they had that second line center, 100% they're going to the playoffs, right? But let's go back to the Oilers. I don't know how they're going to extend this window. I think the window may have closed because demonstrably they've gotten worse over the summer. They lost 5 wingers. I'm going to try to name them all. It was Skinner, Arvidsson, Perry, Brown, and Kane.
Yep.
And what's his face? Adam Henrique is a year older. He's almost 36 now, and he's your third line center unless you put Frederick there. You have 2 rookies that you're hoping Isaac Howard and Matthew Savoie can give you something in the top 6. And then you're hoping for some growth from Podkolzny. And then you're hoping that Mangiapane can rediscover his game. And the thing about Mangiapane, he's not a Sam Bennett. He's not a Sam Reinhart. He's not a Carter Verhaeghe. He's none of these guys that Florida is going to throw against you, right? So they've lost grit. They've lost speed. They've lost skill. They lost snarl. They lost veteran presence. They lost so much from that forward group. And on top of that, the year before that, they lost Fogle, McLeod, Holloway, and Broberg. Like, they are bleeding assets at a record pace. I've never seen anything like it. And I don't know how they're going to extend their window. There's just so many question marks. But making the Stanley Cup final 3 years in a row, especially if you lost twice, is difficult. And you have so many teams in that same division that are surging as well. So yeah, it's gonna be very, very difficult for them to sort of retool and move forward. But there is optimism in Edmonton. When I was there, people were very optimistic that they would come back. But then again, that was before July 1st, and now it's not looking so bright over there.
Yeah. Which here on the very far west coast, we don't mind very much because I mean there are fans out here, but obviously the Oilers are one of our most hated rivals at this point.
I actually like when the Oilers are good though.
Yep.
Because it's fun. It's more fun.
Yep. Oh man, when
their
with
city kind of,
Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver all being good at the same time is great.
except Calgary. I hate Calgary. Like I have a visceral hatred towards the Flames. I just don't like them. Edmonton's a little different. Like I got family out there. I've been out there. Their rink reporter Tony is actually my cousin.
Oh yeah, cool.
We're not super close, but so I've got, and their fans are really cool. The arena's nice, so I've got nothing but respect for Oilers fans. It's always fun seeing them good, but obviously when they go up against the Canucks, it's a different story.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Canucks a little bit then, because obviously they've made some additions to the roster. They've had some subtractions, but is there an addition to this Canucks roster that you are most excited about, seeing how they're going to perform next year?
So they haven't had many additions. Kane was it, I believe. They didn't sign anyone on defense. The goaltending was set. They didn't trade for a center. So I guess we can include like the deadline acquisitions: Hedl, Pettersson, Mancini, maybe a rookie in there. So obviously, very excited about Vander Kane. I don't think the J Fresh card that, if you guys have seen it, that said he's in the bottom 2 percentile is very accurate. Again, I was at the final, and well, he was poor in the final because I think the referees really kind of got in his head early when he was taking those penalties, and then Florida was doing the same thing, and they weren't getting called for what Kane was doing, right? So I think that really got on his head, and he wasn't effective in the Stanley Cup final. That being said, he should be fresh. He got 2 surgeries. He took the entire regular season off. He's got the entire summer here to prepare. He's motivated. He's really turned a leaf in his personal life, and it was really disappointing to see fans say he's this, he's that, he's a piece of garbage. Why did we pick this guy up? Before you throw stones, please take a look in the long mirror. A long look in the mirror. We've all made mistakes. We all were at one point probably a shitheaded teenager or like a foolish 20-year-old, and like we all do dumb things. It's just that his life has been like magnified in the media, and it was disappointing to see the reaction from the fans. But at the same time, I am excited to see what he can bring to this team. I think he still has at least one 25, maybe 30 goal season in him. And I do fully expect him to line up beside Elias Pettersson to sort of, I think the Canucks are going to want to protect Pettersson a bit more next season. If we go back to 2 seasons ago when Pettersson was really struggling against Nashville, I think it was Jeremy Lozon after the Predators scored just knocked him over and no one did anything. That's not going to happen with Kane. If anyone looks in Pettersson's direction, he's going to do something about it. So I think he starts on the top line. But if it becomes obvious that him and Pettersson have no chemistry with Besser, then DeBrusk is probably going to move back up, or Hoglander. And then you can drop Kane to the third. But I do fully expect Hoglander to be on the third line, DeBrusk on the second, and Kane on the first, with DeBrusk and Kane switching more. And then there's injuries always as well, right? So I'm pretty sure Hoglander will get his chances in the top 6, but excited about Hedl as well. I guess you can call him a new addition. He only played 15 games last year. I think it's more likely that Mancini starts ahead of Willander because Mancini's older. He kind of is what he is at this point, and he had that run with the Abbey Canucks. I think Willander is going to get more of the DPD treatment. You do half a year in the AHL. If you show you're good enough, he'll come up. But unless he completely blows the doors off, I see a lot of Charlie McAvoy in him. I'm not saying he's going to be the same player. If he's even half of what McAvoy is, then he's a steal. But we'll see. Excited about Willander, excited about Hedel, Mancini, but Kane for the most part.
Yeah, I guess the comparison to McAvoy is interesting too, considering the guy, one of the big influences on McAvoy's career is now one of the Vancouver Canucks assistant coaches.
Kevin Dean, right?
Yep. Yeah. Because he was credited a little bit with that.
That's I made a video on Kevin Dean, and he's definitely a guy that Canucks fans should be excited about. He's probably the best. I mean, Foote was good, but the Canucks have had really good D systems coaches over the last few years. After Baumgartner was horrific. He was terrible. But after that, they got Brad Shaw. He was really good for a year. He was under Boudreau, and I don't remember if he was under Tocchet or if Tocchet had his own guy. Mike Yeo, I don't remember if he ran the D bench or not, or if he was special teams. But
special teams, I believe, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but Brad Shaw was good. Adam Foote was good, and now Kevin Dean has a long history with USA Hockey. He's known as like a tactical wizard. So, and he's also one of the guys that pioneered that box plus one system. So that was a system that really became popular originally when Boston was putting up like 120, 130 points a season. And then like Vegas copied it, and then Edmonton tried to copy it. And it's a system that Tocchet had in place and Foote had in place. So I think it's really going to be a seamless transition, and it was really smart to hire a guy that not only knows the system, but he's one of the pioneers of the system, right?
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. And then but he does also encourage offense from the back end. He understands that your defenseman should be able to recognize when it's appropriate to pinch and when it's appropriate to be safe. So I think we're going to get a lot more of the chaos giraffe that we all know and love under like previous coaches, like under Travis Green. Like he made you want to pull your hair out, but Adam Foote, Rick Tocchet, these guys really calmed down Tyler Myers, and now he's a really valuable piece on that back end. So being able to see him transition to Kevin Dean is going to be hopefully smooth sailing.
Are you worried about any of the players that the Canucks lost in the offseason, or do you feel like they've gotten some replacements?
No, I wouldn't say I'm worried about anyone they lost in the offseason. JT Miller, I guess that was a mid-season thing, is the biggest one. But I feel like they were able to get back enough value out of Miller. They got so many pieces from just flipping him. It's not just Hedel, also Marcus Pettersson, Mancini, Drew O'Connor. So they were able to turn one piece into four and fill multiple holes up and down the lineup. So I think it's kind of a wash with Miller at this point if Hedel can give you like 50, 60 points and Pettersson can return to form. So that's kind of the key moving forward. But losing P.S. Suter, tough. But I think Atu is really going to step up next season. He's progressing really well in his career, not just statistically, but the little things like the face-offs, penalty killing. His skating is really improved. He doesn't look like a what do you call it, like a lost puppy on the ice anymore, or like a deer, a doe with like weak legs or whatever. I don't know what to call it, but
just picture Bambi on the ice, right?
Yeah, Bambi on the ice. So I think he's going to step up. I think Lecker-Mackey might take the next step, hopefully. But they've got some young guys as well. Max Sasson should be good. Maybe Baines. But I think there's going to be a lot of competition for roster spots from Abbey, and that's what you want moving forward. If you want to really retool, you need guys coming from your AHL program, graduating and playing on cheap contracts, but guys who you can plug in anywhere and you don't need to worry about them.
Yeah, it seems like Malhotra has been providing all those players lately, so it's good to see that coming out of the AHL as well. With the way their roster sits right now, it's obviously too early to make predictions, but are you confident that a roster like this for the Canucks would end up making the playoffs?
If you look at the roster on paper, yeah.
Mm.
I just from the back end out, they're going to have a defensive identity. It's very obvious because that's where their strength is. The strength is in the crease, and the strength is in the defense from number 1 to number 6.
Mm-hmm.
So the defense is way better than last season and even the year before. Last year, the second pairing was Susie and Myers. This year, you got Pedersen and Myers. And then the third pairing was Forbert and Desharnais, which was pretty poor. And this year, you can roll out either Forbert and Pedersen, or you can roll out Pedersen and Willander. You can roll out Mancini. There's way more options on the bottom pairing as well. Plus, hopefully, you get a full healthy season out of Ronick.
Mm-hmm.
So the strength is in the back end. The main thing for me is, are they going to get enough goals? And that all comes down to, is Pedersen going to be Pedersen again?
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. This team is like, Hughes will get you to the dance, but this team's not going to go anywhere unless Pedersen is a number 1 center again. My main concern is obviously is Adam Foote. I still don't think he was the right choice to be the head coach of this team. But that being said, I hope I'm wrong on that.
Yeah. My thoughts are he's probably more of a placeholder head coach than he is a long-term solution.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're grooming Manny Malhotra right now. But then the thing is, like, if you make the playoffs the next 2 seasons, and that, like, do you extend Adam Foote, or do you find an excuse to fire him? Like, if you get bounced in the first round back-to-back years, right? It's like, what do you do? I think Malhotra is going to be a valuable asset going forward. I think they can survive one more season, like, of him not getting poached.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. If he has another good year next year, like, third time's a charm, he's going to be gone.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your most recent videos, because I had questions because there was a couple ones that I thought might be getting a lot of reaction online. Which one got the most commotion online? Was it the crazy true story of when Wayne Gretzky coached the Coyotes, or was it the 1976 Canada Cup, the Canada's greatest team ever ?
In terms of commotion, it's always the Gretzky stuff now because of it's pretty heated in terms of, like, the politics. Mm-hmm. So that one gets more commotion, but the algorithm seemed to really push the 84 one more, the 84 Canada Cup video, because that was Canada getting revenge on the Soviets for spanking them 8-1 at the 81 final. So, yeah, if you do anything about Gretzky right now, it's, unless you talk about sports betting. I did a video on Gretzky's sports betting scandal. That one didn't do super well, but yeah, there's the Gretzky one definitely had more commotion. The one about his coaching, his controversial tenure as coach of the Coyotes.
Yeah. Well, when you were doing all the research and putting together the video for the Gretzky coaching video, what was the thing that shocked you the most that you didn't know about before you started making the video?
Probably, like, how close Tocchet was to going to prison, and like how, like, the guy that he was partners with, I didn't like. I remember he was like a cop, but I didn't know how dirty the cop was, and like how long Tocchet was like connected to this guy. They met in the late 90s when Tocchet was playing in Philly. The guy was a bartender before he became a cop. So he was dirty from, like, the beginning. But what was surprising to me was, like, I can understand Tocchet placing bets or, introducing his friends to, like, bookies and bookmakers. Like, hey, if you want to place a bet, go to this guy. Or I don't understand why he became involved financially and was, like, splitting the win. Like, did he really need the money? Like, was he, like, was he a compulsive gambler and stuff? And again, we mentioned earlier, everyone deserves a second chance. Everyone has a history. But to me, it was just surprising that someone of his stature could make, and, like, at his age, He was like, I think 46, if I remember correctly, when he took the plea. Like, this isn't like you're in your 20s and you're new in the NHL and you're doing dumb things, right? He played, he had an entire playing career, and now he had an entire coaching career. He was involved in the media and stuff. And like, this is the type of stuff he was doing. So to me, that was the most surprising thing when I was researching that video. But also, like, the mob connections, it was unsubstantiated in court, but it was pretty obvious that, according to the New Jersey State Police, his name was James Harney, Tocchet's partner in the ring. He was connected to the Bruno Scarfo crime family, which is in South Jersey and Philly. So it's just odd that like he would have associations with people like that, but also, and put himself in that position, but also in the media after that whole scandal, the articles that were written about Gretzky were very like whitewashed, and they were trying to protect his image. They were calling him a Canadian hero at the Olympics. They were saying that in the Edmonton Journal, someone wrote an op-ed saying, "Leave him alone. We all make mistakes," and like, he's not responsible for his wife gambling. But at the same time, when Tocchet took the plea a year later, there were so many articles written about like he should never be allowed in the NHL again. He should get the Pete Rose treatment. That he got off too lightly. He should have gone to prison. All these things, but like, and obviously Gretzky wasn't involved in the ring, but it's just how the media portrayed him versus how they portrayed Tocchet leads me to think that there was a concerted effort to protect Gretzky's image. Meanwhile, Tocchet was kind of thrown under the bus, which is why people say he took the fall for Gretzky. But again, there's no evidence that Gretzky was involved in operating the ring, or there's no evidence either that he placed any bets. So, yeah.
I was going to ask you about your other videos, because obviously I've seen you do quite a few videos about some of the old Canada teams, and obviously that means you're spending a lot of time reviewing old-timey hockey footage. And so I was wondering, does viewing all of this old footage from the 70s, the 80s, does that kind of alter the way you view the modern game, or how does it affect you when you're watching hockey today?
So the game today is way more like systems based, not as free flowing as it used to be. Like, the reason Bobby Orr was able to go end to end all the time was because guys were pretty like lax in the neutral zone. The positioning wasn't what it is today, and guys weren't as aggressive or fast or quick enough to close down on the defender. So there was a lot of like free flowing back and forth. Goaltending was completely different. It was totally normal for you to be like cut, not just cutting down the angle at the top of your crease. It was normal for you to be in the face-off circle to stop a slap shot from a guy coming down the wing. Like, it was just crazy things like that. It was way more free flowing. It was more violent for sure. Like, guys were targeting the head, like the stick work, hitting the back of your ankles and whatnot. So it's kind of chilled down in that sense. It's way more like systematic, methodical. It's tactical. Every player like has a role on the ice, and they kind of know what they need to do. Whereas in the past, it was, bend but don't break mentality. Like, it's kind of like watching rugby. There's like scrums. They fight for the puck, and then it's like, it used to be like a war of attrition, where now it's more like a chess game. It's more possession based, and it definitely does make you look at the game differently. It's taken out a lot of the individual flair, like I mentioned, Bobby Orr going end to end, or Gretzky weaving into the zone, and now you only see that amongst like the top upper echelon players, players who have like a distinct playing style. You only see that with like Draisaitl's, Kucherov's, and what else? Who else? McDavid, obviously. But you don't see it from like your Denny Savard types, guys who they're not superstars, and they're not at the Gretzky level or like the Lemieux level, but they still had their own like flair, their own style. So that's kind of been taken out of the game. Very systems based. like even in junior, all these guys come up and knowing how they're supposed to play, how they play as a unit, a 5-man unit. And a lot of that came from the Soviets, actually. When Canada got smoked by them in 81, that was kind of when they started taking things seriously. Like, okay, we need to start playing more possession-based. So they switched from Scotty Bowman to Scotty Bowman to, I forgot, Glenn Sather to coach in 84. And the philosophy was completely different. They went from like dump and chase, Canadian style, muck it out hockey to 5-man units. They were running like the 3 forward sets with the same defense. And it was much more attack minded. Everyone had to be able to shoot the puck. Everyone had to have skill. So like a lot of our modern systems do come from like the Soviets. So yeah, that's kind of like the main thing is it went from being free flowing and kind of creative to more tactical, systemic, possession based now.
Yeah. What are your plans for the summer? We got like a couple, like 6 weeks before the training camp and everything gets started. What are you doing for the time being?
I'm slowing it down a little bit. I did 5 videos in 10 days, and right now I'm working on another video. I'm not gonna say what it is because I've had a bit of an issue where I've teased a video and then someone's stolen that idea and made that video before I could go up and do it. So I won't be teasing the exact topic. All I'm gonna say is it is about Canada again. So that's the next one I'm working on. I'm hoping to drop it tomorrow. And then if that one does well, then might do another couple of Canadian topics. But I don't know how much I'll be posting in August right now. Just gonna kind of see how the next couple ones do. And I actually have another side project in the works. So if anyone's into history, I have a YouTube history channel that's gonna be going live hopefully by the end of the summer. But if not, I'll keep you guys updated.
Cool. Sounds good, brother. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day today to come and chat with us.
All right. Oh, it's a pleasure. Always nice to be here.
Nothing is perfect.